Shall I start? I think we shall start. So this is everything you need for hand embroidery applique, apart from a needle. I'm starting with this simple rose that was dried here inside our home, just to have a kind of design. And it is important that you choose a good design for applique. You can't have too many details. This is almost too detailed already, because you will cut this form out later and divide it maybe into several different parts. So it is a very wise decision to choose bold and very smooth lines for the beginning of your applique. I'm just finishing my sketches here, and I'm trying to get some very clear lines out of these little scribbles that I usually make. That is important as well, because you should be clear where you want to cut out your forms. Applique can be done in different versions and matters. I'm just showing one version here. And step 2 is to clearly mark what parts you are going to cut out from your design. I'm choosing different colors already, and as you can see, this is quite detailed for an applique design already, so maybe that is a little bit too much. I'm cutting out the different shapes that this rose consists of, and my plan is to put this on a kind of fabric and to put this fabric on another fabric of a different color. It is very important, by the way, to not use your embroidery or your fabric scissors for your applique stuff when you're cutting out these little templates of paper, because your scissors will get ruined very quickly if you're cutting paper with them. Check the grain of the fabric so that it matches, and then put the different things that you cut out there, the different shapes, on the fabric that you want your shapes to be in. I've surrounded these with just a little pencil sketch mark or something like that, and putting those away. And then I can use my embroidery scissors to cut out these very, very tiny shapes and curves and try to get this together. There are several methods to do applique embroidery, but the most practical, I think, is fusible interlining or interfacing, a little bit glistening on one side and backed up with paper on the other. And so you can see here that I've applied this already on my fabric pieces, and these fabric pieces then get ironed on my other fabric. To get the edges of the fabric a little bit beautiful, I will couch this down with 2 different thicknesses of threads, as you can see here, and 2 different needles. I'm getting the first thread on the top, putting that over the edge of the fabric, holding it down with my thumb or any other kind of method that is applicable, and then I'm couching this down with the thinner thread. This is a method that has been in usage since the Middle Ages, because the threads that were laying on the overside of the stuff, they were made of gold, and as this was a very precious material, you didn't want to waste anything of it, so it just got laid on the surface of the material without anything on the underside, because the underside you could not see. And apart from that, golden thread, real golden thread, is very stiff, and it can sometimes be hard to get it through the fabric, so it is much easier to couch this down in this manner. You can see here I'm starting from the inside of the fabric, but I found out in working that it is easier to start from the outside of the edge and then go to the inside. But whatever floats your boat, do what is practical for you and the shapes that you have chosen. Another material that you can use, apart from this 6-ply thread, you can also use wool, or you can also use a kind of cordage. So anything that covers up these edges is fine. Yeah, as you see this form now couched down by hand with all those little edges between. And now I'd like to add something around this. Choosing my colors, I can pick this yellow golden thing, or maybe that might be too bright. I can choose green for some stems and leaves, so I can get on with the subject of the rose. This one is too similar to the fabric, although you can't really see it on the camera. And the other blue is, I think, just too bright for this purpose. So we'll stick with the green. And it is very useful to combine this with an outline stitch. I'm just showing you one of the steps that you can do. And of course, you can expand on this and have a nice evening outside on the balcony when it doesn't rain anymore. And maybe just listen to some birds. And yeah, have some fun with your week or your weekend or wherever you are. Hope you're fine. And maybe do some embroidery by hand. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe. Goodbye.